Oh, hi guys. Sorry, I was just freshening my lipstick. Yeah, just getting my lipstick freshened. Welcome to episode 2 of Happy Half Hour. So happy to have you here at Grey Ghost Vineyards. We're looking forward to another fun Saturday night. Oh, I'm seeing y'all starting to check in. We're gonna give this a couple minutes. Yeah, you know, got to do our slow walk upstairs. That also helps me remember. Hi, Paul. Hi, Stephen. Who's drinking Ranger? Thumbs up if you're drinking Ranger, or type in what you're enjoying with us tonight. We're making a walk up the stairs. Yeah, here we're up to the, I see you, Stacy Tiley. How are you? Yeah, we're up in the lounge now. Hi, Virginia Wine Time. Thank you for drinking your Ranger Reserve tonight. Oh, heavens. Huh. Where are the stars of our show? Hi, Lisa Carey. Good to see you. Oh, Stephen's at the working. Well, thank you for not drinking on the job, Stephen. We appreciate that. Hi, Diane Andrews. Where are our stars? And there's Roger. Hi, Lisa. Good girl, Stacy and her Stacy's House White. Okay, let's see. Well, there they are. Oh, there's our stars of the show. Look at Al and Cheryl. Oh, come on, guys. You can do better than that. Excellent. So glad to have you all here. And we are getting ready for our happy half hour. I see Joanne. Rebecca's having her Riesling. Hi, Connie. That's a relative, Dad. Connie House. All right. Oh, good girl. Stacy is clapping. All right. And there we have it. Al and Cheryl, the stars of our show.
Give us a sign when you got us. Well, thank you, Amy. I can't tell you what a wonderful experience this is. And thank you all for joining me and Cheryl once again for another exciting whatever we're doing. Again, it's just hard to believe, but it seems like it was just a week ago that we were doing this before. So it's really great. Now, before we talk a little bit about what's going on in the vineyard and what's going on in the winery, it's always nice to just share a little story or some sort of humor. So I thought it'd be a great opportunity to tell a little joke.
No, not a joke.
Okay, here we go. This drunk happened to run across a baptism service that was down by the river. And as he strolled up, the pastor looked at him and said, "Have you found Jesus?" And he said, "No, I ain't." He said, "Well, come on out." So he took the drunk and dipped him in the water, then brought him back up. "Have you found Jesus now?" And he said, "No, I ain't." He said, "Well, let's try that again." So he takes the drunk and once again dips him into the water and brings himself up. "Now have you found Jesus?" He says, "No, I ain't." So, "Well, let's try this one more time." So this time he takes the drunk, dips him in the water, holds him under for about 30 seconds, and then brings him back up. Of course, the drunk is shaking his head. He said, "Did you find Jesus now?" And he said, "No, I didn't." "Are you sure this is where he fell in?" With that, I think it's important that we also talk a little bit about safety. This is a critical period of time. I'm sure we're all very familiar with what the doctors have been saying, what our governor has been saying. Critical issues, please be sure you wash your hands and do everything you possibly can not to touch your face. One of the things that Cheryl and I have found a very effective way is whenever we're drinking wine, we now use 2 glasses. If you have 2 glasses in your hand, it's very difficult to touch your face. So this is what we would recommend for you all to do this evening. as we're enjoying our wine and talking about some of the exciting things that have happened. So while you're thinking about it, let me go ahead and pour the Ranger Reserve.
You're getting claps and laughs for your joke.
As you can see, we're serious about 2 glasses.
Now, Al, will you describe and talk a little bit about what the wine that we're featuring this evening and what makes this wine so special?
I'm glad you asked. This is the Ranger Reserve, which is a blend of all 5 of our Bordeaux grapes. The Ranger Reserve is produced by making 5 wines: Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. Each is small lot fermented and aged in new French oak for about 1.5 years. Then we do a careful blending to produce a Bordeaux where no one grape stands out. As a result, you have a lovely Bordeaux-styled red, all from grapes that were grown right here on the property. This is the 2017 that we're having tonight, which was just released about 3 weeks ago. So, Cheryl? Enjoy.
While you all are cheersing and tasting, oh no, we're about to lose her. Somebody loves the camera lady, thank you. While you all are cheersing and toasting, Jackie is drinking her Ranger Reserve. Jackie, thank you for that visit today to pick it up. We also have the Andrews, hi Diane and John, who are drinking a 2015. We are a little bit jealous of that. Stacy Tiley wants to know 1.5 years. Why not 2 years in oak?
Stacy, we're cheap. We need that barrel to be used in another one of the wines. Actually, we don't want to over oak it. If you leave it on oak too long, it has a tendency to take more of the oak character than it does the fruit. And so we're really concentrating on the fruit. And actually, these wines are tasted on a regular basis, about once a month. So when we're pulling them out of the barrel at a time that we feel they're mature enough to go into the bottle. Very good question. Now, let me ask Cheryl real quickly if she would kind of describe some of the exciting things that happened this week at the winery. Thank you, Cheryl. I really appreciate your input. It's little things like this that make life so much fun. For those of you who are interested in what's going on, we have bud break in some of our varietals. Today I did a quick walkthrough. The Saval, some of the Vidal, and the Cabernet Franc have now broken bud, and a portion of the Chardonnay. Right now, as best we can tell, the Gewürztraminer, a lot of the reds, including Cabernet, have not, but they're coming close. So we expect any time that all of the activity that takes place in the vineyard is going to be kicking off. For those of you who are sitting home and don't have anything to do, agricultural employees are considered essential. And we do pay a very hefty salary of 50 cents an hour. So if you're interested, give Amy a call. We can only accept about 55 to 7,500 people.
But don't call while we're doing this, because Amy's busy.
Oh, yes, in case you didn't hear her, Cheryl said, don't call right now while we're taping because Amy's a little busy. So our number one question is, oh, wait, Stacy, write Lisa's question up there again because I missed hers. But I have Virginia Wine Times, which is, did you have a frost last night?
No, we did not. It came close, but there was no frost here. That was one of the things I was checking for to see if there was any damage. And our temperatures held in the mid to high 30s. So we were really good shape out here.
Good. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I can scroll. Oh, I can scroll. Y'all, I learned something new tonight. Oh, this is great, but now I gotta find Lisa's question. I should have known you guys were horsing around. So Lisa and Stacy want to know if they can get a monthly testing job. I think everybody really likes how hard Cheryl's been working this past week. Cheryl, show us what you've been doing again this past week. Guys, she makes this look easy. Oh, now Karen Quainton's checking in Culpeper said she had snow yesterday. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes, we did have some flurries. Initially, we were thinking that it was the buds off the apple tree that were floating by the window, until we realized that there was also snow in the parking lot. It's hard to imagine snow when the sun's out, but somehow the flurries did show up. I think that was the biggest snow of the year, so we're really excited about that.
So Stacy likes Cheryl's double fisting. Christopher Murray's checking in. Chris, Al had an awesome joke for you, but the executive producer said maybe not this week. We'll talk about it for next week because he said, is Chris watching?
Chris, it was a great joke. I've got to talk to the executive producer and my general partner and see if I convince them that we can use it next week. But
Yeah,
you'll love it.
the girls are having to tone him down. Hi, Nancy Bauer. I just want to give a shout out to Nancy Bauer, who's been doing an awful lot on behalf of all the Virginia wineries, and we really appreciate it. Wow, so the Murrays, are you guys all on your own devices? Because it looks like we've got 5 of you all checking in. Are you all in the same room, or are you social distancing at different parts of the house? So what makes Grey Ghost different and more special? Or maybe you don't think we're more special.
Of course, we're more special. I don't know who even asked that question. A lot of it has to do with we're just special, but such is life. One of the things we're really proud of, and I know you all know this, when we're producing wine, we're producing it from our grapes. And the beauty of owning your own vineyard is you can control the quality. And that's one of the reasons why our 2018s came out so excellent. Cheryl and I have always operated in a constant state of fear. And as long as we're fearful of what we're about to get from Mother Nature, you can deal with it. The first time you take it for granted, that's when you lose out. So that's one of the things we've tried to do.
Go. Oh,
Go
are
ahead.
you still talking?
No.
Okay, Sweet Jackie, who visited us today, she says, how do you arrive on the different percentages that went into the Ranger Reserve?
Well, the first time we did it, we were shooting from the hip. We really didn't know what we were doing. So we took basically a gallon of each wine, which equated to 5 gallons, and then did different types of blends, which means we were actually making approximately 5 bottles, and then we tested those to see how they would hold up once the bottles were given time to settle down. We've now come up with a blend. Every year it's a little bit different, but one thing you're going to notice about the Ranger is the Cabernet Sauvignon is always the anchor wine. Then the amount we produce hinges on how much Melback we make. Since Melback, when we produced it, we were actually looking to produce one. Virginia turns out not to be the greatest place to grow Melback, so we lost about 85% of our vines to winter damage. As a result, all of the Melback we use now goes into the blend, and that dictates whether we produce a small amount or a smaller amount of Ranger Reserve.
And did we talk about how much was produced in the 2017 vintage?
No, we didn't.
How much was produced in the 2017 vintage?
We've produced about 130 cases, of which about 100 are left right now.
And that's after you guys complete your happy hour tonight.
Then we're down to 129 and 11 bottles.
So Kellen Murray said the Cabernet is my favorite. I think that might be Big Al's too. And Kellen, that's what's up for next week. So you got to get into your dad's stash.
The beauty of Cabernet is I'm a carnivore and I love my steaks. And to me, Cabernets are just designed to go with a great steak. And that's what we really go with. It's just a wonderful red to have with red meats.
Chris and Sally would like to know if will you ever make a Malbec varietal?
I would be very surprised if we did, because we just don't have the amount of grapes for it. We were very fortunate in 2017 to be able to produce a Merlot. And the only reason we did is we had one extra barrel, so we produced about 25 cases of it. We didn't produce it in 2018, and the verdict is out on 2019. But it does give you an indication that when you're growing your own fruit, the volume that you produce from your vineyard dictates what you're going to produce on a given year.
And Virginia Wine Time is going to be enjoying their Ranger Reserve, the little steak, later on. Karen wants to know when we're going to taste the Victorian Red.
Ooh, we were talking about that earlier today. That's coming down the pike. We've got to get to the Cabernet next week, and we were thinking of doing the Vidal the week after that. Victorian Red, I think you're going to like it. It's the new vintage that we just released, and I'm definitely looking forward to tasting that one. It's going to be, again, an off-dry rosé, very bright in flavor, very bright in color.
I would like to inform you that your sweet granddaughter, Caitlin, says hi, so she must be joining us from home. Caitlin, who's 7 years old, and the Adaires have made it on.
Wonderful, wonderful. We have people from Oklahoma, from Florida, from all over the world are joining us tonight.
All over the world. Mary Margaret's on too, your cousin, Mom. Mom and Dad are loving seeing that all their relatives are checking in. Excuse me, Al and Cheryl are loving seeing that. Barbara Allen says she's starting her Ranger Reserve tonight and she's going to enjoy it with her lamb chops tomorrow. Oh, look, Stacy's saying hi to Lynn and Michelle. That's great. Okay, we're going to take a little
Sip break.
drink break for the...
One of the things that is kind of fun is every once in a while you don't have an opportunity to talk about history. And a lot of people have often seen our display that Amy put together, which shows a 1971 photograph of two charming people right at their wedding. And a lot of people wonder, how in the world did they ever meet? So I'm going to take a few minutes here to tell a little bit about a history between Cheryl and me. And if this works, we may try to update you on a regular basis and just carry you right on through our life. Cheryl and I both went to Southern Illinois University down in Carbondale. And she came from she had the opportunity of working multiple jobs in order to stay in school, while Al had the benefit of getting to play baseball. So while she was checking in people at the cafeteria where we ate, she would always hold the gate open long enough for a certain set of cleats to be running down the hall, oftentimes keeping the rest of the cafeteria open long after closing. Of course, they've always said the best way to a man is through his stomach, and it worked. And what triggered it all off, I think, was the one evening that they were serving steak, and it was a delightful steak, and I've already said I'm a carnivore, so he goes up and talks to this beautiful blonde, and she says, "Would you like a second one?" And she gave him a second steak. That did it. It also gave a lot of his friends a great deal of jealous pause, but such is life. It was after that that he finally had the guts enough to ask out for the first date. And he did this. He dialed, got to the last number, and stopped. Dialed and got to the last number and stopped. He had already bought tickets to the Bob Hope show that was coming to Southern Illinois, and that afternoon he had asked her at lunch, "Do you like Bob Hope?" And she informed him no. Now he had these two tickets. What's he going to do? Finally, he had the guts enough to dial her whole number. She answered the phone. He said, "Would you like to go to the Bob Hope show with me?" To his surprise, she said yes, and the rest is history. So that's the beginning of the Al and Cheryl history, and we'll try to carry that on as we go these next few shows.
So Stacy Tiley, yes, Al and Cheryl are both Salukis, and we've been having fun starting to host their reunions here at the winery. Next one is in October. Now, Nancy Bauer, God bless you, Nancy. I love this question. Have the Kellerts ever had second thoughts about starting a winery in Virginia?
Well, that's a good question. And to give you some indication of how it got started, I had this opportunity to go out to the Western region in San Francisco and head up our Western region marketing office. And Cheryl came out with the children that summer, and we had a chance to run up to Napa. And that's when Napa was very similar to where Virginia is today. So what we would do is buy a loaf of sourdough bread, get a chunk of really nice Italian sausage, some cheese, a bottle of wine from one of the Napa wineries, and then sit out by one of the vineyards and enjoy the wine, let the children play in the vineyard. And we looked at each other and we said, this is something we could do. That's why we decided to start our winery. Initially, we wanted to do it in California, but quite frankly, costs were prohibitive. It took us 2 years to find this property, and once we did, we kicked it off. We have since looked at each other and said, I don't think that dream was exactly what we had anticipated. However, you're noticing we're enjoying that dream tonight, so that makes a difference.
That was a great question, Nancy. Thank you so much. Teresa Fish is enjoying her Petit Verdot tonight. Debbie Mayer, she got a case of the 17 Cabernet, so she's enjoying that.
A little bit about the 17. Amy, do you want to fill them in on that?
Holy smokes, you guys. So this is really exciting. Did you want to see me for a second? I don't think you did, but you're getting to. So the 17 Cabernet, we entered at the San Francisco Chronicle out in California. There was over 800 entries in 17 different Cabernet Sauvignon categories. And our 2017 Cabernet was the only non-West Coast wine to score a double gold. So over 1,800 entries, 17 different categories, and yes, the only double gold. What does a double gold mean? So a double gold, you go through 2 rounds. The first round is when the judges rank it a gold. Then they put it into another round with additional judges who look at it again, and they say, if one person on that panel says silver, then you get to keep your gold. But if it's a unanimous gold, then you get a double gold. It is a really, really big deal, and as the director out there says, it's the one thing that every winery strives for. So obviously we are very proud of our Virginia grown, produced, and bottled Cabernet Sauvignon double gold winner in San Francisco. Yes, can we get an amen? Woo woo, amen. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
So how are we doing out there? Do we have any more questions that you'd like to throw at Cheryl or Al?
So we're getting some good congratulations, some amens, some I'm drinking Petit Verdot. Oh, Alina, thank you. She said she misses her dose of therapy. Stacy Tiley, were your neighbors in Prince William glad that you moved your vines to Amosville? Stacy, that's a fun story. So were your neighbors in Prince William glad you moved your vines?
Actually, our neighbors were disappointed that we moved, period, since when we planted, we started with 100 vines. We were able to graft and produce an additional 60, so we encroached on our neighbor's property. The very first wine festival that we ever went to was held in our own backyard. And of course, the neighbors were invited. When we sold the property, the individuals that purchased it, we asked, do you want to keep the vineyard? And they said, no, they will tear it out. So we then asked, do you mind if we take it with us? 160 vines were then dug up, balled, put into a truck, and taken out to what is now Grey Ghost. The vines came out before the children. I think that gives you some indication of where our priorities were.
You can't see me right now, but I am nodding my head. The vines were more important than clothing, children, food, any of that. Uh-oh. No, Jeff, I'm not going to read that. You watch. I'm going to read this, and I want you to watch Cheryl's head as I read Jeff Hattishell's comment. Heard Al is starting the champagne next year.
No.
Come on, guys, we're trying to get them to 49 years.
If we do, it will be a complete accident. Wink,
Wink,
wink, wink. One of the things we did recognize is once we got out here, even though the vines came first, we forgot about the labor. So we did go back to Dale City, pick the kids up, and bring them out. So that's where our initial labor came. And it was really kind of interesting. We convinced them that $2 an hour was a good pay, of which they only got $1. The rest went into savings. We now have two of the tightest kids in the world, and they actually squeak.
Yeah, true story. True story. ask Al's wife and my husband. Lori Engel wants to know, is Cheryl left or right-handed? I suspect she's ambidextrous.
Ambi, all the way, ambi.
You see that she's equal opportunity, so drinking out of one. So Nancy Stoltz remembers the story about two kids hiding from the bus after we moved here.
A wonderful story. Shortly after we moved, well, it was actually about 3 years after we were here, we went to our first harvest, and we realized that the labor was going to be from the children. So we kept them out of school, and then when we got ready to harvest, they were out picking the grapes and the Cabernet, which you drive through when you first come on the property. When the school bus drove by, we hid them, not knowing that the vast majority of children in Rappahannock were driving their own cars. After we got harvest done, we asked the two children who would like to go to school. Amy, of course, said yes. Al was more than willing to help us take the grapes to the vineyard, the winery that we were selling them to. When she got to school, the kids all told her that they saw her in the fields and knew right away exactly what she was doing. So you don't hide anything from people out here. They will find out.
They will totally find out.
Well, how are we doing, Amy? Do we have any more questions?
Stacy Tiley is laughing a lot, which just makes my heart warm. I wonder which number of Stacy's house white she's on right now. And I just want to comment to the Tileys and Murray families, if you guys ever met, there would be too much fun to be had in one room.
Well, I think it's getting close to time to let you all go back to reality. Nah, let's not do that. We'll stay in a humorous note. But I do have one closing little story to pass on. There were three guys that were sitting on an airplane. And the first one, they were sitting in the Caribbean on a beach. And the first one said, "My house burned down and the insurance company paid the entire sum, and that's why I'm here." Well, the second one looked over and said, "Well, my gas station blew up and the insurance company carried everything, and that's why I'm here." And the third one said, "Well, I'm a farmer. My farm flooded, and the insurance company covered everything for me, and that's why I'm here." About that time, the other two looked at him and said, "How in the world did you create a flood?" With that, we thank you once again for
Sorry.
we thank you once again for joining us. And now, as a closer, we'd all like you to know what the production of this program was.
I have to put that down to press the end button.